And so now we are on item 7C for our ratification of the SEALS contract. Dr. Liepa.
Thank you very much. We do bring a recommendation forward to have a vote for a 2-year contract with our SEALS organization. So I appreciate the work put in by both sides, and certainly would recommend approval of the recommendation tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Liepa. Mr. Lassard, would you help us with that motion, please?
Surely. Move that the Board of Education of Livonia Public Schools enter into a 2-year contract with the SEALS Union, which was ratified on May 22, 2008 by SEALS members. Said contract to commence July 1, 2008 and expire June 30, 2010.
Support.
We have a motion on the floor made by Mr. Lassard and supported by Mr. Freeman. Are there any questions or comments from board members? Mr. King?
Yes. We have talked about this and the some of the things that the contract consists of. We spent some time, and I've asked questions outside of the board as well. I was able to talk to a couple of the SEALs, and I appreciate them spending some time enlightening me on a few things. A couple things, though, that I'm concerned about. It's a 2-year contract, and we know next year is going to be very tough. I know Dr. Liepa addressed he likes to have a contract in place, some kind of framework to then work around. And we've also added we provided 2 additional holidays to make up for some of the contract language and some of the things that were bargained. Another concern I have is that I know SEALS and AFSCME are 2 totally different bargaining units, but they essentially provide similar service. They maintain all of everything in our district. They make sure everything's working. And this contract doesn't address, I don't think, the things that are going to be affecting AFSCME in the future. I was hoping both units could sit down and have a bargaining agreement that would just share a little more of the sacrifice. That's really my concern.
Thank you, Mr. King. Any other questions or comments from any of the board members? Mrs. Markarian.
Some of the concerns that Steve had are some of the similar ones that I had. One of the things that I was very concerned about was a 2-year contract, and not that I don't appreciate what the SEALS unit does for this district. It's tremendous, but we are going to have a tough year next year, and looking forward, I know that it's going to be a very difficult time for everyone. And in that provision, Dr. Liepa, there are openers in there for health care and wages, so there, among other things. So there's a couple of things where, even though they do get a 2-year contract, there's a couple options in there where we can address some of the big hitting items that will affect this district next year. And the other thing, a no-cost health care, it just kind of strikes me in this day and age that people have no-cost health care. But when the board sets provisions for bargaining, they set high-level provisions, and that allows the district to negotiate in good faith and come to agreements with the bargaining unit on what works best for both sides. So in this contract, even though there's no cost health care, and I think that's crazy in this day and age, Dr. Liepa was able to work out the provisions of the contract, negotiate in good faith, and meet the provisions of the board. And that's really what it's all about. So I will be supporting this contract tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from board members? Mr. Lassard.
I, for one, would commend the folks that bargained this contract. I went on at great length not too long ago about the condition of our financial situation and where I felt the only place we could get any money from, any significant amount of money. And I think the SEALS organization were very, very responsible in providing the opener for wages and health care so that we can negotiate those things and negotiate those things in good faith and come up, as Cindy said, to something that's agreeable to both. I think this is a good contract, and I will be supporting it. As far as wishing that they and ASME had negotiated together, there's a lot of things that I wish, but they don't usually happen.
Thank you, Mr. Lassard. Any other questions or comments?
Just one last thing.
Yes.
I appreciate Cindy's comments, especially as regards to health care, and I think that if we want to deal with next year, we have to start by dealing with it this year, and I just don't think that this contract does that significantly, and I think if we had started grappling with the health care issue 5-6 years ago, I think we'd be in a much better situation today.
Thank you, Mr. King. Seeing no further questions or comments, Mr. Freeman, would you please take the roll?
Mr. Lassard?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman says yes. Mr. Oak?
Yes.
Mrs. Markarian?
Yes.
Mr. King?
No.
President Shield?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.